Hello everyone, welcome to ChessVisor, your wise choice to improve your chess. In today's video, I'm going to show you a game played between Praggnanandhaa Ramesh Babu and Viswanathan Anand. And this game was played in 2018 Tata Steel Blitz round number 6. So before we begin this video, if you are watching this channel for the first time, please consider subscribing to the channel and press the bell icon to get notified for the future videos. So here Pragg was handling the white pieces, so he opens the game with 1 e4. So before we continue the game, this is the first time when Pragg met Viswanathan Anand in a tournament game. So here Vishy replies with the move c5, the aggressive way of playing the e4 idea. So Sicilian, knight f3, normal developing move. So d6, pawn to d4, c takes d4, knight takes d4, and after knight f6, it calls out the knight c3 and a6. And here we have multiple responses. These are the main moves so far, and other moves are there, but still these are the most commonly played moves in the position. So we have bishop e3, bishop e2, we have bishop c4, even bishop g5. So but in the game Pragg plays this move a3. So it does not serve immediate purpose, but what could be an idea is simply because when black advances his pawn to b5, it may come to b4 at one point of time, and that will kick the knight, and that will lose the e4 pawn. Maybe that was his idea, but immediately we don't have to play this move. So because of this, we lost one tempo. So g6 by Vishy, bishop e2 developing a piece. So bishop to g7 doing the same, bishop e3 another developmental move. So here after castling, Pragg plays the move queen to d2. And here the idea is very simple. As Fischer used to tell, open the H file, sack, mate. So that's the point of playing this battery. And whenever Sicilian player plays the dragon variation or transposes into dragon or something like that, so you should try to do the queen side castling and try to attack him immediately. So that's the point of forming this battery. So here after this move, Vishy plays the move pawn to b5. So his king is castled. Okay, so he wants to expand on the queen side, and also it helps him to develop the bishop on b7. So after queen side castling, bishop to b7, and now the pawn is attacked twice, and we have pawn to f3. So here after this move, Vishy plays the move knight b d7, pawn to h4. Yeah, he is going for the attack now. So but Vishy doesn't care about this attack, and he plays the move knight e5. So centralizing the knight, and not only that, that knight can be transferred to c4 square anytime. So immediately sensing this, Pragg plays the move bishop h6, trying to exchange the strongest bishop in the black's camp. So bishop takes h6, queen takes h6. At first sight, why Vishy captured the bishop? So that is an unknown question, because it actually invites the queen to the king side for an attack, right? So why Vishy did that? The idea is very simple. He invited the queen to the king side. It's kind of a deflection. So he wants to put the rook on c8 and maybe sacrifice the idea. So let's see. So rook c8 as per the plan, and here comes the move g4. So instead of this move, white could be better, or even he can gain some winning advantage with the move pawn to h5. Why it is so? Because it's not that easy to capture this pawn. So if you capture with a greedy move, that is knight takes h5, then we have rook takes h5, sacrificing the rook. And once you take the rook, we have the move knight to f5, and there is no stopping the mate. And another idea in this position, since white has formed this battery thing, you don't have anything to reply. If you move any pieces, say for example rook to e8, we have queen takes h7 check, and followed by queen h7 checkmate, right? So that's why instead of g4, h4, or sorry, h5 would be better. But he plays the move g4, and that allows Vishy to execute his plan with the move rook takes c3. So exchange sacrifice. So after b takes c3, as you can see, the queen side pawn structure has been ruined now. So that's the point of playing rook takes c3. And not only that, follow-ups are there. Example, queen a5. So now the c3 is hit now, and another rook, it is there on f5, it is going to join on the c file as well. So that is a problem of playing this kind of variation. And now comes the move knight to f5. So it's a sacrificial move. So now the thing is, he wants to open the g file to attack him and checkmate him immediately. So here after knight f5, he plays the move g takes f5. So after this g takes f5, we have queen takes c3 and followed by rook dg1 check. So here, as you can see, there is no way to stop the mate in case if you don't have any piece to block him. So that's why he plays the move knight to g6. Instead of that move, Vishy could have played a knight e g4. What's the point of playing this move? Of course, you are not going to capture back with the rook, right? So that if you are capturing the piece with the f pawn, then we have queen a1 check, king to d2, knight takes e4 check, and after king e3 we have queen c3 check, and after king f4 we have e5 check, and after f takes e6 and f takes e6, the discovered check, and it's a completely lost position and you have to give up the queen. So going back in this position, instead of king e3, if white plays the move king to d3, then we have simple checkmate queen c3. So in the game, instead of that quick win, he plays the move knight g6 that prolongs the game. So after f takes g6, Anand takes back with the f takes g6. Pawn to h5 now he plays, but again, as you all know that too little, too late, right? So he plays the move h5 now, but now Vishy comes up with a plan. So bishop takes e4, sacrificing another piece. So if you take f takes e4, he senses that the queen which is there on h6 is undefended. So that is the point of playing this tactical idea. How it is related to this one, I will show you now immediately. So now Vishy follows up with queen a1 check. After king d2 we have knight x e4 check, and if you play the move king d3, again you are getting checkmated in 5 to 6 moves. Let me show you that. So queen c3 check followed by king takes e4. Now we have d5 check. So there is no coming back to the d3, I mean to the third rank. So after king takes d5 we have rook d5 check, king e4, rook d5 d4 check, king e5, and queen c5 check, and after king e6 we have queen to d6 check. So we finally invited the king to our camp and checkmated him. So going back in this position, understanding this variation, Pragg plays the move king to e3, and here we go with the knight queen to c3 check, and after bishop to d3. So again you cannot touch the knight, and because of the same variation. So he plays the move bishop d3 blocking the check, but now comes queen to d2 check, and now the undefended queen lost. So queen after king takes e4 we have queen takes h6, and after h takes g6 we have queen to f4 check, coming out of the discovery first of all, and after king to d5 he plays the move h6, trying to close down the position, and after h g7 he activates his rook with the rook c8. So if you look at this position, we have an imbalance, but yeah, with say for example, if the king is there in this corner and we have this compact pawn structure with the bishop and this rook, definitely this is an what do you say, playable imbalance. But the problem is the king is the king's post is very questionable and it is out there in the middle of the board. So it's very difficult to defend this kind of position, and it's a complete lost position for white. But still Pragg wants to fight, or since it's a blitz game, anything can happen, right? So he plays the king e6, and we have pawn to d5, rook g6, and we have rook c6 check. And in this position also there was some kind of a mistake, because after king takes e7 it's a blunder in 3 moves, I mean checkmate in 3 moves, blundered the mate. So but Vishy didn't go for that, because queen f7 checking the rook c7 and followed by queen check is a checkmate, right? So but in the game he played the move rook takes g6, and after this bishop takes g6 we have king takes g7, bishop d3, queen e5 check, king d7, uh, pawn to h5. So now what's the plan for black is very simple. We want to continuously check the king, and by doing so, and in the meantime we will be pushing our pawns to queendom. So let's see how white can defend it. So rook g1 check, And after king f6, he plays the move rook g6 check. So king f7, thanks to this light square bishop, and yeah, that's why he's continuing the game. Otherwise, this would not be possible. So rook h6, we have pawn to a5, king c6, pawn to b4, 8x b4, 8x b4, and after king d7, we have king g7 hitting the rook. So rook goes to e6, hits the queen, queen to d4, king to e8, and now we have queen to g4, gaining some time on the rook. Once you move the rook or defend the rook, then we have pawn to h4. So bishop e2 attacking the queen, queen to g5 check. We gained another value of the tempo. So king d6, we have pawn to h3. So rook e7 check, king f8, rook e5, queen f6 check. And after king takes d5, because you cannot black with the rook, right? So you have to, or it is forced to capture on d5. And after that, again we gain the tempo. That means we have to push the pawn, and it's just one move away from queening, and you cannot stop it immediately. Even if you does something like this, say for example rook h5, queen f7 check will pick up the rook and deflect the bishop. So once after this bishop takes h5, we have h1 queen, and it's the last position. So it's a very easy to solve this kind of endgame, even if you are a beginner. So you can pause the video and try to solve it for black. So because of this, or considering this, after pawn to h2, Pragg resigns here. So it's on a beautiful game by Pragg, and he fought well, or he tried to attack Vishy, but at the point of I think in this position, yeah, here instead of g4, if he played this move, the game could have been different. Since he played a g4, that favored black, and he easily converted the win. What do you think about this game? Let me know your ideas, thoughts, suggestions in the comment section below. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. And in case if you are not subscribed to my YouTube channel ChessVisor, please consider subscribing to the channel and press the bell icon to get notified for the future videos. As usual, this is ChessVisor, your wise choice to improve your chess. I have linked